One of those names I always attributed with brilliant games, Konami had a track and field record of producing some of the most entertaining consoles and arcade video games. One of the places that Konami really excelled was in the production of arcade games and cabinet, but Konami were exceptional at everything back then. Chances are, if you were into video games, you probably had at least one awesome Konami game in your library. Konami had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Asterix, X-Men, and The Simpsons. Yeah, The Simpsons! Who could forget those jaundiced freaks? I'm kidding, I like them really, well, the cartoon series. As far as I'm concerned, although the Simpsons family has had a poor representation over the years when it comes to the format of video games, I do not consider the arcade game to be one of the highest points in their history. So let's start with the story. It just doesn't seem valid. In terms of how the cartoon episodes are laid out, the game doesn't carry any weight as a plausible story within that world. At the time this game was created, Series 2 was nearing its finale on TV, 15 episodes into 22 total that season to be exact. It is fair to say that some of the characters weren't shown or introduced yet in their particular roles. So my instant problem with the way this game starts is that it ignores the complex nature of some of the characters who were portrayed up to this time. Mr. Burns and Smithers come off as the most damaged characters. Waylon Smithers is the timid, cowardly, flinching underling of Mr. Burns.
How much could it possibly cost to fix this place up?
Approximately $56 million, sir.
$56 million?!
Don't hit me, sir.
As such, Smithers barely explodes or loses his rag with anyone. So the way he is shown in this game is peculiar. He is portrayed as this thief who robs a jewelry store. He attempts to steal a diamond for Mr. Burns. What would Mr. Burns need a diamond for? Seems silly, he has all the money in Springfield. If Mr. Burns wanted the diamond so much, he just could have bought it himself. This is near the end of Season 2, and we've seen the alcoholic, manic, depressive, and troubled side of Mr. Burns.
Empty. Bah!
In the episode 2 Cars in Every Garage and 3 Eyes on Every Fish, we've seen so much character development in Mr. Burns, character development that gets thrown away in this game. Instead of the Mr. Burns who is calculated and clever, the crafty sod who can take any situation and work it to his advantage, we get a Mr. Burns that operates a battle tank and tries to kill the Simpsons family. A man who will happily kill 2 children and endanger the life of a baby, all for a diamond he would already be able to afford. In an even weirder connection, only 2 of the bosses in this game are main characters, Smithers and Burns respectively. However, a 3rd boss is also from the cartoon, Professor Von Brawner. That's Brawner with a W. He appears in one episode for about 20 seconds. In fact, here he is as he appears in Bart the Daredevil. He wins a wrestling match by hitting his opponent around the back of the head with a spanner. Why doesn't he have a spanner in the game? Why is he massive? Why does he mutate when he falls off the helicopter? Why? Oh yeah, so Smithers is attempting to steal a diamond, but he accidentally bumps into Homer. Homer is just out on a walk with the other Simpson family members, Bart, Lisa, Marge, Patty, Selma, and Abe. Why? I guess we'll never know just why they were all out together. Anyway, Waylon loses the diamond, Maggie mistakes it for a pacifier, and Smithers kidnaps Maggie. Yeah, child napping, Waylon Smithers, completely out of character. But it's not like we care about saving Maggie, you only care about being able to play as the Simpsons family. Picking Marge, Homer, Bart, or Lisa, you must visit several locations while chasing after Smithers. First you will visit downtown Springfield, where you will pass many locations from the cartoon. You will fight some goons as you make your way down the street, before finishing at a bridge where you'll fight Professor Von Brawner. You take off after Smithers by pumping up a large balloon and make your way to Krusty Land. Here you will meet some old characters. Hey, it's Otto and Dr. Marvin Monroe? What's a family counselor doing offering you donuts? You'll fight a Krusty balloon which will explode and destroy the ground beneath you. You'll crash into Springfield Discount Cemetery, where zombies rise from the ground and do a thriller dance. Tasteful. Then you'll enjoy the obligatory elevator scene, and then battle 2 mobsters. Wait, who? Who are these guys? Now you're inside Moe's Tavern, well, his second tavern that's underground for some reason and about 8 times the size. At the end of his tavern you'll fight some random drunk guy. Who the hell is he? He looks like Moe! What the heck? Next, you take the elevator up to the Springfield National Reserve. Here you'll fight 2 Bigfoots. Remember that episode where Homer was mistaken for a Bigfoot? Yeah, like that episode! Konami really didn't have much to work with, did they? The boss of the level is a grizzly bear, just from that one episode, Call of the Simpsons. Except this grizzly bear transforms into a minor enemy? Just what's going on, guys? I don't think you even know. After defeating the bear, the Simpsons family attempt to reach Maggie, who Smithers once again kidnaps. The Simpsons then fall down a waterfall and die. Oh, who am I kidding? They go to Dreamland! Yes, you get to experience what it is like when a Simpsons character is fatally wounded and is fighting to survive. This world is surreal. And who the hell is this guy? But at least this level is fairly short. You've got your donuts, power plant employees, floating saxophones, and devil barts. Wonderful. After getting slapped by some random overseer, they wake up and chase Smithers to the TV studio. Here they walk in on the set of a Japanese-themed television show. What? I'm guessing this is just a Konami thing. The Simpsons catch a ride on Smithers' helicopter, battle him in Mr. Burns' office, and then take on the old man himself. When beaten, Mr. Burns collapses. Maggie then gives him her pacifier. This action causes Mr. Burns' eyes to get crossed out, which I presume means Mr. Burns is dead. The Simpsons rejoice that they upfront murdered the richest man in Springfield. The end. Now, I'd hate to be a downer man with the skill to put a downer on everything, but it's downer time. I really don't like the visuals in the Simpsons Arcade Game. The opening attract sequence is much less impressive than the one in Turtles, released 2 years beforehand. It's something about the way those eyes move on the profile screens and the lack of animation in the attract sequence. Compared to Turtles, the graphics actually look poor. The sprites animate in a way far too disconnected from the style used in the cartoon. It's just too different. In terms of style, some of the sprites look plain wrong. For instance, the falling sprites for the characters look nothing like how they should. Remember how good the graphics in TMNT are? Well, you can see why this really peeves me off. There's Marge's rabbit ears and Homer losing weight when he dances, sure, but what is wrong with Barney? What did they do to Gumball? Is he having a stroke? The way I see it, Konami clearly did not want to make this game, or at the very least they did not feel passionate about it. On the audio front, there are voice samples from the regular cast. However, that's the regular cast excluding Hank Azaria and Harry Shearer. So if you were expecting Mr. Burns to say "excellent" in his usual voice, you'll be disappointed. The replacement for Mr. Burns sounds nothing like him.
Welcome to your grave, sir.
In fact, he reuses a piece of dialogue from earlier in the game, belonging to a different character.
When you think you're going. When you think you're going.
When I played the game, I didn't think the voice for Mr. Burns was right, and now I know why. But other characters don't even have voices. Moe, Barney, or any of the other cameos for that matter. Waylon Smithers' laugh is used by several other bosses. Remarkable job there, guys. At least the soundtrack is good, but not memorable. So we have the chaff out of the way, let's get down to the controls and the gameplay, finally. Well, how does the game play? Poorly, I have to admit. This port could use an auto-fire on one of the remaining buttons, or at least a button assigned to the jump and attack combo. The game ends up as button mashing, with a disappointing selection of control schemes, you know, no selection. The inclusion of the Japanese ROM, released a year later, is a nice touch, but the game still had shoddy controls after a year of work done on it. The ability in this port to select your character is a nice touch. I am glad that it is no longer tied to a controller position. When playing the Japanese ROM, the new health bar and item changes are extremely welcome and make the game much better and genuinely more fun to play. I also appreciate that the Japanese ROM is still in the English language, as was not the case with X-Men. There are plenty of credits modes to pick from, with the individual credits being a great choice for co-op play. There are some fairly tricky trophies and achievements, and I appreciate the challenge that these offer. In terms of value, the game costs 800 Microsoft points. which translates to $10. On the PlayStation Network, the game costs $9.99, 1 cent cheaper. Until March 2012, the PS3 version is free to all PlayStation Plus subscribers. The game costs half what it would cost you to purchase a complete season of the cartoon series. You could buy Sonic CD and Case Zero with that money, and I would say you'd have far more enjoyment out of those. The only plus is the online play between you and your 3 friends, but by that time you'll have spent $40 between you. Take into account that your Xbox Live subscription costs money too. I say wait until a price drop unless your friends are playing it right now, although if you're a PS Plus member you should grab it immediately, as soon as you can before it goes up to full price. This version is good enough to replace playing on MAME, although MAME benefits include visual filters, better scaling, aspect ratios, hardware acceleration and cheat support. However, to be able to say that you legally own the Simpsons Arcade Game and have beaten it, then you can be proud to add this game to your collection. I give it a 6 out of 10.